Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Valithor Gaming. I am your host Valithor, and today we will be playing League of Legends. I'm going to do something a little bit different this time than I usually do, and I'm going to call it a surprise spotlight. I'm going to pick a random champion, I'm not going to know who the heck it is, and I'm going to try to do a spotlight of that champion. I know most of the champions. If I don't know the champion, I'll skip it, just because there's probably like 10 champions out of the 100 that I don't play. Like, for example, Scion, who's just kind of irrelevant. I won't do if I get a random pick it, I'll just random again. But it's a normal game, so let's take a look at what we got. Random.
To the arena.
Wow, I was actually considering learning how to play Xin Zhao, so this is kind of perfect, isn't it? Alright, so let's take a look at some of his abilities. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to make a mastery page for him. He is a tank. Tank AD, so his base stats are going to be being tanky and lifesteal, so I'm going to have to make a new page for him. What can I override that I'm not going to use? Rengar, I haven't played you in forever. So I'm going to give him attack speed. I'm going to go with the Ignite or Exhaust. Give him some physical damage, armor penetration, increased damage dealt. Increase attack damage. Damage dealt to turrets. I need one more point in something. Okay. Alright, you know what? Cooldown reduction. I don't think I need minions. Give me a second. Okay, we actually have a hunger, so I'm going to be in the top lane. So let's set up some masteries. There we go. What page am I using? $14 or $35? I'll go with the 6% lifesteal. I think it probably would have been better if I went with just the flat AD. So I have not played Xin Zhao since Season 1, where he first came out. So let's figure out. I need to figure out exactly what the heck I need to do in order to be able to play him. So I'm gonna look up something here. So let's go. I guess I'll just do a quick rundown about what Xin Zhao is. He's a top lane champion, and he's a tank, but he's also really good. He's a bruiser tank, so he's good at taking damage, dealing damage. He has a lot of CC. He's able to knock up his opponents, slow him. He has a gap closer with his E. I can't remember what his W does off the top of my head. In his ultimate, he swings his pole around him and knocks everyone back away from him, and does a bunch of damage. So he's good in there for breaking up. He's good for breaking up team comps, for taking a bunch of damage. Counter information. Hard CC kind of shuts him down. He's really farm reliant. Anyone who can out sustain Xin, like Fiora would probably be a pretty good counter him. Counters I can immediately think of would probably be like people like Jax or Malphite, or maybe Fiora. I don't know. So I have to try to avoid people kiting me and poking me. Try to avoid skill shots that have knockbacks, and I have to really play aggressive early game because I don't want to get shut down. So if they start being aggressive early on, I'm gonna be having a little bit of trouble because I don't want to have to be on the defensive side of the game. Now I did get Ghost instead of Flash. I don't have a really good excuse for that, except for the fact that I want to be able to get closer. And since I do have a gap closer with my E, I feel like I'll be able to use that to escape as well as engage, and having that there means that I can engage harder as well as escape, although I think it has a much better advantage for the engage than it does the escape. Not someone I would play in ranked only because I am not good enough with Xin Zhao to consider playing with him right now. So he's a top laner, but I've been seeing him jungling a lot when I see him now. But there are just better champions than him in the top lane now. Because he's kind of got the standard build. So I use my offensive masteries. Yeah. It looks like I'm looking him up right now in the background, and it seems like now he's supposed to be a jungler. That's what most of the guides have been for. But I'm playing him as a top lane unless Gangplank is going there. I'm not sure what's going on here because we have a Graves and we have a Xin Zhao and a Gangplank, and both are top lane champions. So I'm not really sure where I'm going. I was too busy setting stuff up to look at the chat in pregame. It's also possible Gangplank could be mid. I don't know who this too much swag for your Yolo is. Did I switch over yet? I did not. Oh, Xerath. Xerath is going to be mid. We'll switch over to the game. There we go. So I'm either going to be supporting Graves bot lane or I'll be soloing top. And it looks like I'm probably going to be supporting him bot lane. Well, I'm going to think it's kind of interesting. Oh, wow. That's an intimidating load. Alright, question is, do I start with my Q or do I start with my E? Because my E has a pretty good gap closer, but my Q has a knock-up and a shorter cooldown. Which one's cheaper? The Q is by far cheaper. Yeah, if I level my E, I'm going to run out of mana really, really quickly. Oh, here's this W. Passive. Heals himself for 26 every third basic attack. So every time I hit 3 times on that third attack, I'll heal for whatever that amount is, and that increases with the amount of AP I have. And the active increases my attack speed by 40% for 5 seconds, which scales good with my Q to be able to get that third in and being able to do my base damage over time. So I think an item like Winsow's or the Rage Blade might work well on him. If you're able to stay, if you're tanking enough. I don't have really tanking mastery, so I might not get that until later. So I started with the cloth armor because I'm going to be the bruiser so that Graves doesn't have to, so they'll be hitting me instead. So instead of the typical, there's 2 kind of ways that you can build a bot lane and be successful. Although you've seen me do ADC, you have to compare with 2 different kinds of champions. Is standard. The standard is ADC support. But this time we're going to be doing a different gameplay, and we'll be doing ADC tank. So I'll be in there on the front lines taking damage going in. We'll be playing with aggressive things. Now, we have a lot of CC, so we're going to be counting on me being able to slow, knock up, and then knock back with my ultimate. Which means that if we're able to have a really good early game, we will destroy them in the late game as well as in the team fights later on. So we have a very strong potential if we don't screw it up. And it looks like they have a Caitlyn down here, and I believe that was a Nidalee. So we have already a pretty good defense against them. I'm probably going to have to build some... I'm just going to keep building armor because Nidalee is going AP though. So I managed to dodge that spear with my menu up. Thankfully I was actually paying attention. But I'm not just saying that because I want to see it like I did. I'm marking that with something. This unit's armor has been reduced. Oh yeah, his passive also, Xin Zhao scales well with items such as Black Cleaver because it reduces his enemy's armor, and Brutalizer. And Ghostblade is probably one of his core items. The reason for that is for every time he attacks, he reduces his opponent's armor by 15% for 3 seconds. And I don't think that... Only 1 target can be challenged at a time, so it only affects 1 target, and it looks like it doesn't stack, so it's just a one-time 15%. So I'm going to want to try and get a Brutalizer. So it looks like we're going to get Nidalee right off the bat. Yep, there we go. We got Nidalee. And I'm pretty low, so I think I'm going to recall here. Otherwise, if Nidalee, or not Nidalee, if Caitlyn tries to push up, I've got my W up now, so I can increase my attack speed and be able to knock her up. Turn around a otherwise possibly losing fight for Graves if she decides to engage. It looks like she's going to play it safe, so I'm going to take this opportunity right now to go ahead and recall. And I'm going to grab a... Wait. I'm trying to make sure that she doesn't go in while I'm recalling, because I could turn the fight around if it was losing. So I'm going to grab an Emblem of Valor, which gives me a bit of a healing aura and gives me a little bit more armor to protect against Caitlyn's pokes, as well as her auto sustain. So now the unique aura of Valor is it grants nearby allied champions +7 health regen per 5 seconds. I love this item on characters like Xin Zhao because I am going to have to play tanky as the tank bottom, so armor is going to be necessary to defend against the ADC so I can actually efficiently pull damage off of Graves without without risking dying. So right now I'm considering popping Flash and going in, but Nidalee is there and she's putting in good zoning effect at the top area. If I go in, I'm going to be taking Spirit of the Faith. She'll probably try to harder engage me, and Graves is already a little bit lower. So I'm going to sit here and hopefully, it looks like our Xin isn't going to gank because he gave himself away on the trap that was placed in that bush. Next time I go back, I'll buy another ward. It's actually easier to buy wards on a tanky support than it is for just a normal support in the bot lane. Because you don't need to worry about aura items. You're going to be focusing mostly on armor. And I'm getting worried about the Xin, so I'm going to actually ping him to go back and see if he listens. And be ready to move in front of the spear so that he isn't going to die. And I'm going to tell him to go back because I probably just saved his life by doing that. Alright, so I'm going to pop Ghost in here right now. Go in. And we got her. Oh, Shaco decided to come in last moment, so... I was going to go in, but you know what? He's right under the tower. He's not quite low enough. It looks like they have a ward in this top bush as well. Is he going to go in? I'm not sure. He is going to go in for the kill. He couldn't get it, but I went in there and died for the thing. I did not get hit by Shaco, so I got executed, so I did not give any of the enemies a kill. So that was perfect. Normally that would have been not as good as a trade because I'm the support and I don't really want Shaco to get fed, but he did not get a kill from that because he could not land a hit on me before I killed him. So that was very worth it. I'm going to... I think I want to go for a Vampiric Scepter if I'm going to be this aggressive. It's kind of a hard call for me right now. I think I'm actually... Yeah, I'm just going to go for the Vampiric Scepter. And I'll max my W first to get that quicker attack speed so I can get the knock-up effect quicker when I scale it off with my Q. So what I'll do is when I go in with my E, I'll activate my Q and then pop my W at the same time. It'll increase my attack speed by 60%, and since that knock-up effect's on the third strike, I'll be able to get those hits in a lot quicker. And I don't need to be worrying about doing damage as much as I am getting them up, slowed, and knocked down. And if I'm able to pull that knock-up, if I'm in a good position behind the enemy, I'll be able to activate my ultimate, knock him back toward Graves, and that'll be for an easy kill. You know, these are not champions, they are not bruiser champions by any stretch of the mean. So if I'm able to get in there and we go hard sustain, they won't be able to really, they don't have any innate abilities to be able to counter us off at that close of a range. They're long-range champions. So it looks like Nidalee's going to go in here. I'm going to knock her up. Pop an Ignite on her so that she doesn't get away. Graves is I'm going to let Graves finish her off, and that's a kill on Nidalee already. And Graves is going to go ahead and 1v1 Caitlyn. Caitlyn's going to back off. And there we go. That's another kill right away for Graves. So we are really hard countering their bot lane right now. They're champions who are focused, built around pokes and range sustain, and we are focused on explicitly countering that by being tanky so that they're doing limited damage to us as well as being able to absorb Wait, I think I just said that. Yeah, we're able to absorb most of their damage as well as out-damage them in a sustained fight, which they do not excel in doing in the current circumstances. So my next item is going to be my Berserker Greaves. You know, I'm actually going to stay here because I think I'm going to go in after this Caitlyn. So my ultimate didn't do nearly enough damage to kill her. And I probably could have saved that for later. I didn't actually look at how much damage it was doing. It only does about 100 damage. So it's not a damaging ult as much as you get it for the area of effect. And but when I use it, excuse me. Okay, plus 50% of the target's current health and physical damage. So using that early on in the fight would be better. So what I should be trying to do is I should try to E them, activate my ghost if necessary, get behind them, and then use my Crescent Sweep. That'll do an extra 15% of their health as damage, so that it will increase the amount of damage that I do overall after I go in with my W and my Q. So I'm going to wait here in order to get Berserker Greaves. Another thing that is, when I use it, I gain 15 armor and magic resist for 6 seconds for each champion hit. So the more champions I manage to hit with that, I gain more armor and magic resist, which will help me later on in the team fights be able to take more damage. So a good item that I might consider getting on later on is a Guardian Angel. Gives a whole lot of armor. If they do somehow manage to take me down in that fight, I'll revive right back into the fight. And with that passive still active, I believe it does, dying with the Guardian Angel does not clear my passives, because I did not actually die. I'm actually going to go mid lane and see if I can gank this Anivia if she decides to stay. Because I'm a pretty hard counter to Anivia unless if she has her Q down. So if she uses it, I'll pop my my ghost and try to get in close and take her down right away because she does have her egg down. Lee Sin did there. Okay, so he was already pretty low. Waiting for him to pop his Q. There it goes. And there we go. Lee Sin managed to get the kill off of that. Lee Sin, sorry, because I really should have had that kill, but it doesn't matter. Lee Sin is doing more roaming than I am. And so Lee Sin is already 3-0. I'm 3-1 as a support bot lane. And we're getting pushed back a little bit in the bot lane, so I'm going to try and go for my next item, and I'm going to actually go for a Brutalizer. I'm not going to wait for it because they are pretty close to our tower, and I want to get there as quickly as possible without having to wait for 25 gold. Pizza. Pizza. So I got 60 seconds before my ultimate comes up. Looks like I got here just in time. The minion wave just died. They managed to get all their hits on the turret off. So it's 782 out of 2,550 health. I can't really afford to let them get close to poke again, so I'm going to hold it until Graves can get here. I might have to be forced to engage under the tower and go after Nidalee. So I didn't get my Q off because I kind of popped my abilities in the wrong order there, as you saw. I activated my W and my Q before I actually got in, which was a mistake on my part. I wasn't paying attention to what buttons I was pressing in the right order. I meant to hit E, not go right for my W and Q. So I stepped on her trap so she can see me right now, so I'm expecting her to try and throw a spear in the bush to try and hit me. And she did, and even though I was looking for it, she managed to get a hit. If I had a ward, I'd place it in that bush and go after her with my E. I don't know where she is, and I'm at pretty low health. So it looks like she's not going to go full on in. I'm going to pop my W and get some hits on these minions. Try and heal back up. So I got some of my health, about 25% of it back from auto-attacking. And we're still regenerating faster from my emblem. I'm not sure if they warded that bush yet. It doesn't look like they did, but they're still going to play it safe. And Caitlyn's a little bit far up, so I might go in. I got the Ignite off on Nidalee, so that's going to get a kill. So I'm triggered Caitlyn's trap there and recalling, so she knows I'm not here. But now it won't be here for later, she'll have to replace it. Alright, so I got another longsword, because I'm going to try and go for the brutalizer to scale with my passive more, because they're going to want to start building armor right now. And even though they haven't, I'll be penetrating more of their armor with each attack. And it gives me plus 10 armor penetration, a little bit more damage, and the cooldown reduction to help scale with my abilities, which have decently long cooldowns. Xin Zhao's at 12.29. I do have the 10% cooldown reduction at level 18 from my masteries, which will help me a little bit because I'm not going to be getting too much of that in my build. So these should really be pretty much longer cooldowns if I didn't have that 5% already. So that's taking off about 0.7 seconds off of it. I'm gonna go check out their jungle right now and see what's going on there. Their jungler is pretty not doing too well. He hasn't gotten a kill. He's 0-1. Their blue buff is not here, but I'm gonna see if he's here taking wolves and see if I can get a kill off of him. So it looks like he literally was just here. So I've got the cooldown timer on them, so I'll know when he comes back. And I'll be right here waiting for him. Hopefully Graves will be able to hold it. Alright, so Shaco is actually up top right now, and he engaged our jungler, who was also counter-jungling. I'm going to see if Nifty has her egg up. She does have her egg up, so I'm not going to go tower dive her right this moment. I'm going to pop my ghost and run through their jungle and see if I can catch Shaco on the retreat from running away from that fight. Looks like he managed to Q over that wall. Or into that bush, and he's trying to trick me. Nope. So Shaco managed to escape. I wasted my flash, but that's okay. It'll be up. Not incredibly long time from now. And Xerath is going in on Anivia, so I'm going to pop my Q, go in, knock her up. She's egged, so I'm going to pop my ultimate as he uses his ultimate to knock her back, so I don't end up knocking him back. Huh, I thought that my ultimate used to knock back. Does it no longer knock back? If a challenge target is hit by the sweep, it is unaffected by the knockback. Okay, so whatever target I hit does not get knocked back. It used to be, I think it used to knock everyone back, but whatever target I hit first, or the last champion that I hit gets challenged. So it does not get knocked back. All surrounding champions do. So if I wanted it to get knocked back, I would not want to get him activated with my challenge. I would have to go behind him, then ultimate, so that he was not challenged. So as long as I don't auto attack him, nope. If I eat at him, it also applies the challenge. So I'm going to be using that for a clearing effect. So for taking out single targets, it appears, is what was the intended purposes for that, not just knocking back the destined target. So I'll use that to clear enemies away, and I can still use it for the 15% of the current health for when I go in on strong targets. And Caitlyn and Nidalee are at full health, so I'm going to ping him to back off just a little bit. Because we don't have a ward in the jungle either. If Shaco comes down, it could easily turn into a losing fight. And I have enough to go back for my brutalizer, so when I go back next time, I'll grab a brutalizer and a couple wards. If I have enough, I'll get a vision ward and put it in that bush. If not, I'll grab a couple side wards, place it further down the river. So I'm waiting for 5 seconds for my W to get up, and my ultimate will be up by then. And then I'm going to go in on the first target who gets in range and take him out. I was expecting Nidalee to throw a spear there, but she didn't. I'm waiting for Caitlyn to get in attack range. Nidalee managed to show herself somehow at the last moment. I wasted my Ignite on her, so I'm going to actually try and I was going to try and lifesteal or get away, but Shaco managed to get in and pick up the kill. So I'm going to grab a Vision Ward right off the bat. And I should have enough for a Sight Ward as well. Lee Sin looks like he's going to tower dive Shaco. Yeah, he got vision on him, and down goes Shaco. That's a little bit. Hold on a minute. Just gotta have pizza when they play League of Legends. It's just not the same. Let's take a look at the scoreboard so quick. So me as a support at the bot lane, I'm 3-2 and 6. I've been ganking mid, intercepting the jungler a couple times, and going in hardcore on this lane. I'm 3-2 and 6. Graves is 3-1 and 4. Lee Sin 4-0 and 3, which is going to be giving us a huge advantage as he goes roam and ganking a bit. So he's only level 11, but their levels aren't exactly that high, so he'll get an advantage from ganking bot lane and top lane. Or maybe not top lane so much because Aurelia is level 13 and he's level 11. Maybe enough to turn a tide in there. But it doesn't look like Gangplank is really needing it. Gangplank is 2, 1, and 2, so he's going having a good time against Aurelia. So we're winning in all the lanes. I'm going to avoid both of these traps here. So I'm not going to bother popping my wards just yet because we know exactly where they are in their jungle. And I'm going to go help them out in a second as soon as I clear these minions. Alright, so now they know I'm coming, so they're going to want to back off. And I popped that trap just to make sure that they knew I was coming, because I really am trying to discourage an engagement right now more than start one. So they did not place a forward ward there. I'm not worried if they have a ward in there. But I want to be able to see Shaco if he decides to come down through the river. And we already have a ward, 2 wards here it seems. I guess Lee Sin is placing wards by their blue buff to try and steal. And I'm going to go in here since it's already warded, and I'm going to try and take down this tower as quickly as I can. So bot lane is coming up. So I'm not actually trying to disengage. I'm trying to get into a better position to engage from. Minimally managed to get away from that, and I'm going to try and E2 that bigger minion to get away. And it looks like her ultimate, the minion stopped the engagement. The minions went down too fast for me to be able to get away. So I managed to take out a tower. If my Ignite had been up and it just came up now, that I would have gotten a kill on Nidalee, and that would have been a 1-for-1 trade with the tower. Still good because I was still intending to get that tower, so not much of a loss on that side. So the question is right now whether or not I want to get a Black Cleaver or a Ghost Blade, and the truth is I actually want to get both. But which one I'm going to get first, I'm actually going to get the Black Cleaver right now because as their damage is scaling up a little bit, it does give me a little bit more health and more cooldown reduction to be able to survive in these fights, and it does give me more attack damage than the Ghost Blade does. Ghost Blade only gets 30%. I don't need the crit strams right now because my damage isn't really high enough for me to get anything off of it, and I won't be getting it solely for the crit chance. When I activate it, I gain 20% movement and 40% attack speed, which scales my my battle cry is going to be significant. Also, it also gives me more cooldown reduction. So between the items that I have on cooldown, my Black Cleaver giving 10%, the Ghost Blade will be giving 10%, my runes give 10%. So that's already a good 30%. If I do manage to pick up blue buff, that's an automatic 100% because blue buff grants 15%. So that'll help later on. I probably won't need to worry about getting blue buff too much. 30% should be good enough for me to get already a significant advantage of my enemy. I'm leveling up my E, so it's not level 4. It's already at a 9-second cooldown. My Q is only at a 7.41 second cooldown, so it's only a second and a half approximately apart from each other. So I'm getting ready to go in here. I'm going to mark Caitlyn as the target. Got it Ignite off on Nidalee, so she's not getting away this time. I'm going to take down Anivia before Caitlyn manages to take me down. Graves picked up the kill. And Caitlyn is going to fall back and hide under her tower. So that was a 2-for-3 trade right there. And I think our Graves ADC got both of those kills, I believe. Yeah, Graves got a double kill, so he is 5-1-5, so he's getting fed, which is going to go toward his gold count significantly. And I got my Ghost Blade. Now, I would normally, under these circumstances, because we have so many ADs, get a Xerx's Herald. Although I don't really think it is, since I'm going to be a support, that would be a typical item I would get, but this time I decided to get a Ghost Blade. So I'm not really going to, I don't think I need to get it right now. I'll consider getting it later if I absolutely must. But right now I'm considering getting a Ravenous Hydra or one of the other lifesteal items because I'm going hard engage, which will be able to keep me alive longer in the fights with my high attack speed. And since none of them have a frozen heart, I'm able to keep my full attack speed without having to worry about them being able to drop it at all. Alright, so let's look at this mid fight right now. There's 3 mid and there's 3 defending it, so I'm going to keep pushing top, set it up in a pushing position because it's mostly a poke war right now. The enemy doesn't want to engage and our team just kind of wants to push it up to the tower. So I'm going to put some I'm going to poke top a little bit, get the minions to push, and I'm going to go steal their red buff and place a ward in their bush so that we can know when it's down again. The red buff is already down, so that means that Shaco has been here recently. I'm going to move my Ghost Blade to 2 so I can more actively hit it. They just saw me, so I need to back off before they get me. And I'm going to go and start upgrading my up to a Black Cleaver to reduce their armor so that our ADs are doing more damage. I'm going to actually keep this on 1 because that's what I'm used to pressing. Looks like they're going to try and go through here to try and catch me. Oh, now they definitely know where I am. I'm going to get out of here and push the bot lane. Yep, they decide to stay, so they're not worried about me. So after I get my Black Cleaver, I'm going to get a Ravenous Hydra. Which will help significantly in the team fights as I do more damage to the enemy, as well as more sustain for me. And it should also help with quickening the clear of these minion waves, although that is not the intent of me getting it. It does have that nice little extra bonus that I get from it. Alright, so I managed to take out their Caitlyn. So that's putting them back just a little bit. There's more downtime for her to be down, less great score that she's getting. Although the laning phase is mostly over. It didn't really hurt or help either team. But it is giving me just a little bit more gold. And a little bit more experience every time I get a kill. And that's less time that Caitlyn has to stay in the mid lane, so it actually is a little bit more of an advantage for us. Because now they don't have an ADC holding the mid lane. How high is my volume right now? Doop. Okay, it was, I had my speakers up. I could stay and wait for that breathalyzer, but I'm actually going to start going through the jungle, and I kind of want to get that gold a little bit quicker. The team's trying to hold them off and keep them under the tower, so they're not able to watch their side lanes as much, so doing a 4-man push probably would be a good tactic by split pushing, because they want to stay under the tower. They're trying very hard not to lose it. So as long as they're staying mid, it's safe for some of us to be able to break off and get a little bit more creep score in pushing the side lanes. The two of them and Gangplank combined with his ultimate, since he's not there, is enough to keep them mostly under that tower because they don't want to lose it. But that's also, we're able to, because they're all there, we're not worried about pushing back. So it looks like Aurelia was here waiting for me. I don't think I can actually win this exchange. I cannot win the exchange. I did just get a Brutalizer. I think I'm wanting to get... If I want to counter her, I'm going to have to get an Executioner's Calling, because she did get an item that does damage based on the target's current health. And it does give a lot of attack speed and lifesteal. So she is a champion who's based on restoring her own health through attacking. So I'm going to want and get an Executioner's Calling, as I'll show you what the Executioner's Calling do. It kind of will help me shut down. It will basically shut her down once I get it. Every time I basic attack, I inflict Grievous Wounds on the target, which for 1.5 seconds. Now what Grievous Wounds is, it reduces the healing and regeneration of target by 50%. So it gives me attack speed, or attack damage rather, and critical strike, which I already have a little bit of. I don't need it for the critical strike, although it will also help more, and it goes with the Ghost Blade as well. And so she won't be able to heal. So her W, she won't be getting much from that. She won't be getting much from her lifesteal, and it should reduce the Spirit Visage. Although the Spirit Visage, it's mostly just going to be canceling out that 20%. So in reality, I'll only be reducing it by 30% when you cut out the Spirit Visage from what her base stats otherwise would be. So I popped my Ghost as an Intimidation. I wasn't really going to go in. Although since Nidalee is here, I might as well. So I went in, got a couple pokes. I'm down to half health, and we got Nidalee. So I'm going to run over to their wolves and quickly lifesteal off of them. There we go. I'm almost back up to full health just from taking those wolves. Gankling's down. I'm going to ping on the back just to be sure. Got to Ignite off on Aurelia right at the beginning, so she wasn't able to heal off nearly as much as she would be able to otherwise, because the Ignite also applies Grievous Wounds-like effect. It reduces healing effects by 50%. It is separate from the effect of the Executioner's Calling. So if I ignite an Executioner's Calling, it does a minus 50%, and then another minus 50%. I don't know if that would be 100, or if that would scale down to 75% or 50% of that 50%. I don't actually know the game mechanics for that. It would be nice if I knew. If I ever find out, I'll mention it later on in the stream. I'm going to guess, and because it's reducing the healing effects, it's probably going to just cut it down to 75% reduced. And I'm going to play as if it is, even if it's not, because I honestly don't know. And if it's not, then I'll be getting a much larger advantage in this fight than I was anticipating. So my next item is going to be an Executioner's Calling, because now Aurelia is actually participating in these team fights. I'm going to try and keep her from actually making that big of a difference when she needs to, by cutting off her ability to actually stay in the fight. So if you see them raging at Aurelia for going in and feeding, it's probably due to the fact that I'm building to try and keep her from doing anything, and I'm building selectively with the Executioner's Calling to try and shut her down. So it looks like they're trying to get behind us. I don't know if that's the real Shaco. It is the real Shaco. There's too many Mia. He's too far up. If Shaco goes in, he's going to get caught off. I'm going to sit right here just in case. Yep. Aurelia is here. And I caught a spear by accident. I'm going to go in here in lifesteal off of these wraiths. It looks like Shaco already took them out. So I'm pretty low right now. I have enough to be able to go in and possibly take out a target for one of my teammates to pick up. But I'll probably end up trading for it. So I'm going to go see if their wolves is up, because Shaco's in there, so he probably hasn't taken it. So it looks like Nidalee went down again. Nidalee is not having a good day. She is 0-10-4. We've pretty much shut her down and countered her throughout this entire game. Made sure that she wasn't able to do anything by my hard engages earlier. Jumping in on her, knocking him up. And of course the Ignite so that she can't get away, as what happened earlier. So I'm going to get ready to jump on this Caitlyn and tower dive. So I'm going to go in. So looks like it's not going to help much. because she was able to get out through her flash by flashing over the inhibitor. I'm going to activate my Yoma's Ghost Blade so I can more quickly take that down. Get ready to defend my team with the speed if needed, and it looks like I didn't need it. Or I scared Shaco off by doing that, I'm not really sure which. I'm going to jump in on this Aurelia. Took her out, knocked Caitlyn back. I'm going to try and take out the correct one. I killed the wrong Shaco. I was hitting the right one at the beginning. But it looks like he went down anyway. The only one alive is Nilly. She's 0-10, so she's not going to be able to do anything. She goes down pretty darn quick. And I'm going to grab this Avarice Blade, and my next item will be the Executioner's Calling, like I said, and that will only take another 600 gold. Thanks for taking the tower. It shouldn't take nearly as long as it would. 200 gold. So I'm actually kind of surprised. This is my first time playing Xin Zhao since Season 1, and this was actually a pretty good spotlight. I think I hit all of the aspects that Xin Zhao has. Something I see people do on Xin Zhao, though, is critical chance does work pretty well on Xin Zhao. I did not add on the crit damage on the first rank of the offensive masteries. Because I was bot lane, I didn't want to focus too much on the critical damage aspect of him. I wanted to focus on the tank aspect of him. If I was top lane, I might have changed that. Or I might have not have. I might have enforced it more. It's honestly hard to tell. I'm building situationally, as you always should. And I do have the... I'm not choking. Some critical strike in there. So we don't really have this area warded, so I'm going to try and be a little bit on guard here. I'm not going to back off and actually change my playstyle right now, because I am easily capable of taking down at least one of them if they come for me. And I know they won't come for me as a team. They're not that very well organized. And it looks like they're gathering around Baron, and Caitlyn is sandwiched between our team. I'm going to pop my Q right off the bat. It looks like they actually got Baron. It was not worth it for them. We already killed 3 of their guys, so they got Baron, but we got 3 kills. So they're only getting the effect on 2 of them. Shaco running for his life. I think my Ignite went off on him, but he managed to survive it. Looks like Graves is just gonna dive, so we had every advantage in this game. We had the proper builds. We countered them bot lane without it being draft pick, so we just really got lucky. You know, I would go in, but I'm actually going to just take my time and recall. It's not necessary. We're going to win at this point anyway. Grab that Executioner's Calling, so if something did happen in this fight, which it won't, we are going to win right here. I would be able to counter off Aurelia and any chance of sustain that they would require to hold the Nexus. So their last tower is going down right now, and the minions are going to finish off the Nexus if the champions don't. So it looks like they're going to take down Gangplank. Or he's going to survive and get out in time. Ooh, run, Gangplank, run! Hey, baby. Oh, I wanted another kill before I died. Or before we won. And that has been the Xin Zhao Champion Spotlight. I'm going to pull up the stats right here and show you guys exactly how well this build actually performed outside of the in-performance gameplay. So I did go 7, 8, and 13, pretty good as a bot lane support. That was actually my first one of the day. So we had just about a lot of stuff. Check out the graph for damage dealt champions. So I did pretty high. I wasn't the highest, and I should not have been. Graves and Xerath do have a significantly higher, but I was able to lower the armor of my enemies as well with my Graves, so that was definitely increasing his damage output considerably. Healing done. I did do a considerable amount of healing thanks to my attack speed. Every third attack, I heal for the base of whatever level my W happens to be. And yeah, that's just about it. And I did my job as a tank. I took the second most damage on the team next to Graves, and since I was supporting him, that should be just about the same. And that's about it. So thank you for joining me on this Champion Spotlight. This is Valithor, and if you like this video, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Like the video, comment below if you like it, add it to your favorites if you enjoyed it. And if you'd like me to do another Champion Spotlight, or you want me to do another one of these where I just random pick and do a spotlight of that champion without knowing who I'm playing, please let me know, and I'll be sure to do it. This has been live recorded on twitch.tv /ValzarGaming, and will be uploaded to YouTube if you're watching it on the Twitch channel right now. And I am using OBS Broadcaster software version 0.552B, and it can be found for free. Do a simple Google search, because if I try to get the address, and I tried before, I always screw it up. And thanks for watching.